I'm gonna go ahead and call this July 16th meeting of the Richland County Finance and Personnel Committee to order. Thank you. It's the July 20th meeting. That was the date that Mr. Langrick noticed it, July 16th. Okay, so agenda item number 2, proof of notification. I saw Mr. Langrick's email and it was posted on the courthouse bulletin board, so we're good there. Agenda item number 3, agenda approval, and I'm just gonna note first that we've got 4 members of the Finance and Personnel Committee here, so we do have a quorum, so we can conduct our business. So with that, I'd entertain a motion to approve this 7-point agenda. Okay, motion by Luck. Second by Gentis. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, say no. Okay, that motion carries. Oh, and I have the wrong agenda up in front of me. Okay, here's the right one. Agenda item number 4, presentation Richland Grant Telephone Laval Telephone Fiber to the Home Broadband Grant Project near Cazenovia. Mr. Langrick.
Mr. Chair, looking today for potential motion to recommend resolution to the county board to partner with Laval Telephone, Sauk County and area townships in entering into an agreement to partially fund the proposed fiber to home broadband project near Cazenovia and utilize American Rescue Plan to fund the $200,000 share. Background on this item, we did have email correspondence put out on the summary sheet given to us by Operations Manager Josh Lean, I hope I'm saying that correctly, as well as some supporting documentation and then the proposed resolution tonight. Mr. Chair, I would wrap up my comments there and I would turn it over to Josh to further elaborate and help us illustrate the project for us.
Okay, so in June, this is a quick window, so that's why it's such a big rush. In June, the federal government gave the Wisconsin PSC $100 million to manage for broadband expansion within the state. That being said, we put together this grant, and one of the criteria in that PSC grant is that if we go into a private-public partnership with a township or a county, we get more points than if we didn't. So that being said, if we didn't do it, the grant would not be as attractive as another company who is, let's say, applying in central Wisconsin or northern Wisconsin, because it's a statewide grant. So we're trying to get the most points as possible, and that's why we're pushing this agenda to try and get you guys to come on board with us. And as far as your county goes, it's about 20 miles of fiber and a little over 100 residents we would pass.
To go a little farther than Josh did, I'm John Bartz, also with Richland Grant Laval Telephone. We actually own Genuine Telecom also in the city of Richland Center, 50% ownership. We currently are covering quite a bit of Richland County now. I mean, if Josh is able to share a screen, we can kind of go over what we've done. But in the last year and a half, we've spent over $6 million in fiber to the home builds in Richland County. We connected about 260 customers in the last 2 years to fiber to the home. And this isn't, this is not copper ADSL technology. This is 100% fiber to the home, gigabit capable. We have 10 gig backbone routers. We're also doing another project right now. We're just finishing up, which is about 140 more homes down the Highway 80 corridor between here and Orion. So we're covering a lot of Richland County already. So if Josh can share a screen, we got a few maps, which I also think maybe I think you sent them, but I think it's pretty impressive what we've done and what we have planned for the future.
You guys see my screen?
We did, Josh.
You can see it? Okay.
I don't see the map now, but.
No, I'm going to get it up here.
So we've actually had a lot of requests just out of Orion. There's another subdivision up that's got about 30 homes in it. Part of the reason we actually didn't go up any farther, they're redoing that stretch of road in the next coming years. And they wanted us to be 8 foot deep on that one side of the road. Well, for us to try to get 8 foot deep in that cut is really super tough. So we probably will expand up there in the future, but right now we just didn't want to take the chance. So. Okay, okay. So there's a blue screen there. I can kind of see Josh. If you can get that out of the way, that would definitely help. I don't know if you can see that.
What blue screen?
You don't see it probably. Okay.
I do not.
So you guys are kind of having a hard time seeing this. It's not showing up what I was hoping, but you can see that the square of Richland County is not showing up very well, but all that green area is up around the Durslars Farms, all that area we're doing right now. That area we're doing right now, we got about 30 miles of fiber in that area. We're coming all the way down County A, all the way down to Highway 80. We're coming all the way down Z and double Z, all the way down to Highway 14 by Boaz. And then on the other side of the golf course here, we're going all the way down to 193 and in that section in there. So there's going to be a fairly large portion of it that's going to get covered. I doubt this is all going to happen this year. Our intent was to get 300 miles in Richland County this year. We're currently probably sitting at the 25 to 30 mark. Material supply has been horrible for us. So, but we did actually get a large amount in. We did get another contractor starting this week, or last week. So we're starting to gain a little bit more ground now.
You can see the county. There's Richland County right here.
You can see that really good there.
Yeah. And I will add the.
So what he was showing there was what we're going to cover in the coming years. Now what he's going to add is he's going to add a yellow perimeter that shows the area that Laval Telephone currently covers. And then on the bottom corner, he's going to show the area that Richland Grant currently covers.
So this is Laval in yellow. If you can see my hand moving on the map. This is Richland Grant in green, all this in the county. And then this is our grant proposal that we're talking about doing right in here. Can you see that?
Yeah, I think I can, but I kind of understand how the map lays.
So one question I have for you, and you probably already said this, I didn't catch it. What does the green and the red represent on the map?
The green is Richland Grant area that we are going to be building. They're in the process of building now and are going to be building by the end of next year. The red is what Genuine Telecom is going to be building through a grant process as well. We received Wisconsin PSE funding for these red areas as well.
Gotcha. So
Expand fiber.
So it looks like in the yellow area, there's a hole just to the east of Rockbridge. It's kind of like a more east-west opening than a north-south one. And it looks like you guys are filling in that hole. Is that correct with this project that you're proposing?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I just want to say, I'm very grateful to see all the work that you guys are doing around the county. It's nice to have a co-op approaching us. We do have the American Rescue Plan funds. We have not, to my knowledge, we don't have a clear idea of how we're spending that money yet, although we know there are several different areas that we're interested in spending the money in. And I know that broadband has been a priority of the county board. We've had that, and I think we have a strategic plan of some sort. It's listed as one of our items. Our early version of a strategic plan, I should say. So this sounds great to me. I should just ask, would the county be on the hook for anything? Say if, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I asked the same question to Bug Tussle when they came a couple of weeks ago to the Rules and Resolutions Committee. If for some reason you guys cease to exist, say you went bankrupt, I'm not sure if that should even happen, but say you guys did, would the county be on the hook for, say, paying back the $200,000 if something happened, or just want to double check here?
Like during the process or in, what do you, I don't know
Maybe,
what you're asking me.
and maybe it's not an equivalent. I think Bug Tussle was coming to us and they were asking for us to co-sign on a loan. And
No, this is not a cosign. This is a partnership. This is all this is. This is you committing to giving us 200,000 of your ARPA funding. 100,000 once we start the project, and then 100,000 once we finish the project, and then you're out of it.
Okay, great, thank you. And Mr. Langrek, what's our total ARP funding?
Mr. Chair, total ARP funding is about 3.2, of which we received 1.6. The other 1.6 comes in next spring.
Okay, so this would be $200,000 out of 3.2 million that we'd be committing.
That is correct.
Okay, all right. Any other committee members with questions or comments on this? Supervisor Gentis, go ahead.
Okay, so I didn't know, the last meeting we hadn't received any money, so now we have received it. And that's just there for infrastructure. Is that correct?
With the American Rescue Plan, there are, I believe, 6 categories
Yeah.
that are specified for what the money can be used. And one of those is for expanding broadband. So it is a specified purpose of what we can use. One of the other categories includes for lost revenues. To figure out our organizational lost revenues, there's a formula that we have to calculate into it, which requires our audit numbers, of which we're still waiting on. With lost revenue monies, we have nearly full discretion on what we want to use those monies for, with the exception of the 2 or 3 items that specifically you can't use ARP funds for. So that kind of plays into the equation of figuring out what the pie looks like and how much of that pie can be allocated towards lost revenues, giving us more discretion on those funds. Did that answer your question, Supervisor Gentis?
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. C.
Thank you. I apologize for being late. I take full responsibility for that. I don't blame the fellow that gave me a ride. What I would like to ask, since I came late, is this territory, is it all in Richland County that you are proposing to have this grant for?
No. You can see the blue lines. If you can see can you see my hand the hand moving on the screen?
I'm sorry, I'm sight impaired, so could.
Okay.
Right.
It's about 50% in Richland County and 50% in Sauk County. And we are also asking Sauk County for 200,000 as well.
I see. So you're allocating that.
Supervisor
Yep.
Steve, familiar with the Casanova area. If you go south on 58, you're looking at sections of Highway S, Highway K, part of Fry Drive. I think it's Happy Hollow that reaches over to the west. That leads into a Scott Drive over there. And then
Yeah.
I think there's a Snow Valley as well that's kind of caught, and that leads out east, I believe, all the way almost to if that sounds familiar.
And is that the extent of the territory that you're utilizing?
With several spurs coming off. Did I say that correctly, Josh?
Just 2 homes, I presume, spurs.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
and is this defined as a territory by statute or by some rule? Is that territory always in the domain of Laval Telephone Company?
No, they're actually fed by CenturyLink, and CenturyLink is giving unreliable service and inadequate speeds. And the purpose of this money is to bring people up to an adequate 25 down by 3 up speed, which CenturyLink is not giving them now. And actually the stipulation of ARPA is a minimum of 100 meg down by 100 meg up. And with our technology, we can go all the way to a gig down by a gig up.
So
We exceed that.
does this create very nice music? Does this, I'm sorry to belabor this, but I'm interested in the legality of this in terms of territorial rights. Does Century have some rights that they're waiving to you, or how,
No.
is there a conflict between your company, co-op and
No.
Century, or you have a lease or a lien, or?
No, there's no conflict at all. We're completely independent companies with the right to compete against each other to provide services to these people. So there's no
So you
conflict here.
can Go into the territory where there's already an existing company servicing customers.
Yes.
Well, that's very interesting. Well, I hope you keep spreading out.
That is our plan.
Okay, anyone else who hasn't spoken up yet? Any committee members?
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, Supervisor Brewer. go.
I personally received Lavelle telephone service in the spring, and it's just wonderful. I tell you, it's like entering the 21st century. So I'm all for spreading this throughout the county. I wish it were more area here, but it's the perfect way for us to spend this money that was bestowed upon us, so I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Okay, thank you Supervisor Brewer. And Supervisor Seep, I just want to mention too, because this might have been before you and Supervisor Brewer walked in, but the gentlemen here this evening have said that this would service 100 homes. So this is $200,000. So at least for the county's portion, this would be about $2,000 a home. So I just want to make sure you guys, they did not give me that math. I made that math up, but.
Excuse me.
Yep. Go ahead, Supervisor Seep, and I see Supervisor Severson wants to say something as well.
But that $2,000 that the county is spending or matching is funded by the government COVID grant or the ARP grant, right?
That's right. It is funded by us, the taxpayers, federal taxpayers, through the American Rescue Plan by the
Yeah.
federal government. Yes.
But it has no effect on since we have those funds available, doesn't have any effect on the tax rate of the county taxpayers.
Correct. This would not be coming from the property tax or the
Right.
sales tax.
Just to clarify that. And also, I would add that I have been a member of the Lavelle Telephone Co-op since its inception. And the Lavelle folks installed broadband probably as much as nearly 10 years ago in the area where I live, and the service has been absolutely outstanding.
Okay, Mr. Severson, if you want to come up to a microphone. Oh, got one. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just wondering if we could give 200,000 to all the other fiber providers in our county instead of just Lavelle. And then what about other people that want to put in a housing development or anything? Could we give them another $200,000 to help that project out?
Well, I probably have to hand this off to Mr. Langrek, but I do not believe that any other internet service provider besides Bug Tussle has approached the county. And Mr. Langrek, is that true? Is this the first ISP that's approached us?
In asking for partnerships, yes.
Okay, so, Mr. Severson, I thought about that too. I think it would be good for us to get out ahead of how we want to carve up this money and what we think the best way to parcel it out is. I personally, I do like the idea of making this commitment for $200,000 because I would like us to move quickly, and I would like us to reward a company, especially a local co-op that's moving quickly. But I can see why people might have some different opinions on that. Maybe some might feel this is too rushed, but that's why I'm in support of it. Go
Yes.
ahead, yeah.
I come back to that would be, what other organizations or businesses apply for this 1.3 million that we do have? And are we going to be opening the door for other people coming to request that 1.3 million instead of one for us for recovery?
My personal opinion, I'd be curious to know what other committee members think, and Mr. Langrick could speak up too, but I think we need to detail what our process is for using these ARP funds. I think we need a big picture vision, and I think we do need to open it up fairly to other groups. I know that childcare is another acceptable piece of infrastructure, and I know there's at least one church up in the village of Rockbridge that's interested in using ARP funds for childcare. So I think we need to be, my opinion is I think we need to be kind of public with this and open it up to other groups and let them know what the parameters are. But yep. Okay, Supervisor Gentis, yep.
Clinton, I just want the map that you sent us, you know, on our email with the blue and the yellow lines. Is this covering both the blue and the yellow? That's what I'm confused about.
I think that's kind of a scale down here. Josh, can I pull up the map that you'd sent out? I can do a share off of mine if I can have you unshare on yours.
Yeah, if you could just hold on just a second, go ahead, Mr. Langrick, and then we'll hand it off to, that's okay, Mr. Barnes.
This was the map that Josh had sent out that I had sent to you. So the yellow line, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the Highway 58 running down through there, just shown as the major terrain feature. And the blue on our side of the county line is the project as it impacts us. Am I seeing that correctly, Josh or John?
Okay, so it's just that blue area. I just want to know.
Yep, you're seeing that correctly, and the Highway 58 area is already covered. So that
Oh,
area,
it's already covered on
Yep.
58.
yep, that area is already done. And
And
the one
I-
go ahead.
Are you interested in doing anything in the southern part of the county?
Well, so we're interested in doing a lot, but right now it's just a timing thing. You've seen the huge area we're doing, like I mentioned, we're trying to get 300 miles done this year, which is all in Richland County. And that was my comment to the one chairperson is, you know, we've been in business for 70 years. We're very proud of our service. We've already committed over $6 million into Richland County. So we're really making a commitment to this county, and we're asking for a fairly small portion. So other people that come in hopefully can do the same, because we quite honestly will probably never be able to get all of Richland County covered. It's just, it's too much for us to do. Because we have other areas, we're doing a bunch in Sauk County, we're doing a bunch in Juneau County, and hopefully in Crawford County. So, you know, just get so many people, so many feet on the ground.
Okay, so we are looking for a motion here to recommend a resolution to the county board to partner with Laval Telephone in the amount of $200,000 from the American Rescue Plan. So did anyone like to make that? Okay, motion by Luck. Second by Turk. Any further discussion on this? Okay, Mr. Seep, go ahead. Yes, if you could have a mic, that'd be great, because we have a guest on video, and it'd be nice if he could hear what you're saying.
Anyway.
And I think we're recording this too, so go
Yeah.
ahead.
I fully support this motion. Laval Telephone Company has a very fine history of service and has been a financially sound company, and you don't have to worry about them pulling out and sticking somebody else with a bill. The other thing to keep in mind is that they are a publicly managed and publicly owned company. They have a board of directors consisting of their members. It's a membership-driven company, very much like the REA. In fact, they're affiliated with the REA, and they receive their funding through the national, I think through the REA, National REA Administration. Keeping also in mind that all of a sudden, because there's a pot of government money available, people are rushing to make a buck, and these mostly are profit-making companies. And they have not been fully established. They do not have a track record. And some of them have been very controversial. I have complete faith in this proposal, and I fully support it.
Okay, Supervisor Severson, you want to add something again? Oh, yes, Ms. Scott, go ahead. Thank you. I didn't see her up there.
One thing I would ask that you amend your motion to say is that we can utilize as a partnership this fiber for our 911 tower project, and that we get a 100-year lease on the fiber with that. That way, where they're running fiber and we're going to be doing our tower project, we could utilize that in partnership with Richland Grant. So I'd ask that the committee consider that as part of their motion.
Okay, let's go ahead and that's a good point. Let's take a look at 5C, which is the resolution. So Mr. Langrek, was this drafted by Laval Telephone Co-op?
Yes, the language that I have there is 95% from Josh. We put it into our format, added in the bottom for signatures and our resolution formatting, but all the whereas and the therefore be it resolved languages are proposed from Laval, reviewed by myself and by Corporation Counsel. One thing that we did question on earlier today was in regards to waiving fees on some zoning and natures of that. Question up that came to Josh was, is there is there going to be issues of land purchase or putting up structures or something like that that would have impact on zoning permits and fees? And Josh had mentioned that the main vision is to put conduit and fiber in the ground, and that there's not intentions of different fee structures. Coming back around then to Director Scott comment, we would have to incorporate that language into the resolution or take it up as a second resolution or action after the fact, or some other type of mechanism. And I guess I would defer to Corporation Counsel if he had an idea on how to approach that, keeping in mind that that would be beneficial to future projects, but balancing that with our compressed time frame.
And that was going to be a follow-up question. I'm assuming is it Mr. Wendell? Did I get that right?
You did, thank you.
Okay, did Mr. Wendell has already looked at this resolution and approved it?
I have.
Okay.
The question was mine in regards to the fee structure, but it was answered satisfactorily.
Okay, and then the issue of, I guess, being able to use some of this fiber infrastructure for an upcoming 911 project that I guess I'm curious from what the perspective of Laval Telephone Co-op would be, and then if staff thinks we should do, Mr. Langrek, if you think we should do that or not. That's what I'm trying to understand.
It would be advantageous to us. I guess I'm not sure exactly where our towers are going, but since we're talking on tower placement, wire type placement, I don't know if John and Josh are in a position to be able to evaluate that and to be able to give us an answer tonight. But it would definitely be advantageous to us from a county perspective to have access to that if we're putting up towers.
Okay, well, let's let them weigh in on this question then.
I've looked at some of the tower stuff. Josh, are you talking? We can't hear you if you're talking.
You are muted, just so you know.
Here I am.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys need fiber, we can get you fiber to two towers
So
if it's within reason.
we looked at some of the tower sites a long time ago with one of the radio companies, and I don't honestly remember who it was, Barb. We looked at some of the tower sites they were proposing. I think it's a great idea if we could get 2 strands of fiber for you guys for the 100-year lease. We currently have fiber at Bunker Hill today. You guys have a transmitter up there today. I don't know what other tower sites you're really looking at. At one time, I thought there was one over on Quarry Hill that is owned by Original Electric. I thought that was maybe gonna be a tower site. But I think we could, we could put together a 100-year lease for 2 strands of fiber. It would have to be, to be used only for county purposes, not for deploying broadband and competing
Right.
against us. But yeah, I think that, I truly think that's a great idea. I really do.
Okay, so do we, Mr. Langrick, do we need a motion to amend, or are you comfortable with the way it is and knowing that that'll get sorted out in the future? How do you want to proceed there?
We do not have it currently in writing going forward with this resolution. We do have it on recording with this meeting. But as Attorney Wendell will tell you, comments in a meeting don't necessarily equate to ink on paper.
Always put it in writing.
Yes, but partnership that we've had with John Bartz and Laval, I think we have a history on doing business with them, and it's something that we could certainly engage with after this conversation. Is that fair to say, John?
We actually have some pieces. Or something similar to this.
Okay, and I'm assuming too, if you guys do want to amend the resolution, you've got about an hour here where you could work on that and bring it forward, and someone could make a motion to amend during the county board meeting if you guys decide you want to get that in this resolution. Otherwise, I think we'll just move ahead because I'm not hearing any motion to amends coming from behind me. So is there any further discussion on this? Okay, then all those in favor of the motion to recommend the resolution to the county board this evening, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay, that motion carries. So thank you, Mr. Aline and Mr. Bartz. Not sure if I said your names right. Apologies if I didn't. And then that takes us to, we handled agenda item number 5, the discussion and possible action takes us to adjournment. Looking for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Cooey. Second. Second by Brewer. All those in favor, please say aye. We'll say no, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep, thanks for coming.
Yep, thank you.